Welcome back to Bay Sunday. He's a Bay Area native that has put his master's in writing at USF to work. A novelist who loves to explore the human condition. His latest is called Dancer. A man in search of his purpose in life walks away from everything he knows, lands at San Francisco, sparks a big cross-country road trip where he finds a little bit of love in the heartland, among other things there. So pleased to have the author with us this morning, Greg Jolley.
Oh, my pleasure. Thank you.
Great to have you on board. Well, tell us about Bill Dancer. Who is this guy, your main character?
I started off with a bad premise, which was I wanted to write about a quiet person, and instead of someone who had a lot of activity. So this is a sort of not a person with not a lot of depth, but he changes his life significantly, and he kind of goes on this quest. And he's not a deep thinker. He's just one of us, just trying to muddle ourselves through. But he's got a vision that, you know, basically I've changed my life. In his case, he stopped his adoration with Tanqueray, and he is now in the States after being raised in South America, and he has this vision that there's this happiness, there's contentment, and that is the reward for changing your life. You don't keep searching for happiness. You
live it.
You live it, exactly. this is his story, along with the folks he meets and the women he meets, and of course there's, as always, tragedies and the like along the way.
He bumps into a few road bumps on the way to Kansas.
Yes, he does, yes.
What did John Lennon say? Life is what happens while you're making other plans.
Exactly.
That's this guy, huh?
Yeah,
He wakes up and I go, where am I going today?
Yeah.
That kind of thing.
Yeah.
Well, he ends up in San Francisco and then jumps in a Jeep and heads to the heartland.
Yes.
I don't want to give away everything.
No, that's good. And he gets as far as Half Moon Bay, and he still really doesn't have a premise other than that he knows that the family has a lake cottage in Michigan, and it's his to use. And so he does eventually make his way there, connects with two family members, Sarah and Wiki Dancer, who are his gay nieces and girlfriend, and they have their time in Michigan, and it seems very idyllic, and they almost hit a lyrical point in life, but he's dissatisfied. So he gets back in the Jeep with the oversized tires and heads out and eventually falls in love with a woman, Allie, and her son, Kazoo, in Kansas.
Yeah.
And
well, let me ask, is there a little bit of you in this character?
I think no. I mean, there's always a part of you that spills in.
Sure.
But you know, this man is 30 years old, and I'm in my 50s. I've never been to Kansas. I've never lived in South America.
Okay.
Right, but I moved to Michigan after this book was completed. But yes, in some points, it's not biographical by any means, but sometimes, yeah, you do spill in.
When you write a novel, and you've written, what, 10, 11? 10,
yes.
10 of them. Is there a beginning, middle, and an end that you already know? Or do you just sit down and start developing characters and go, what the heck can I do to this guy?
It's more of a collection of ingredients, as I call it. It's Post-it notes, it's iPad, it's computers, it's whatever is at hand and whatever is working. I sometimes have a hint of the ending, and I'm usually surprised because it doesn't happen. Just as in the day-to-day, I don't do a lot of outlining, but I have ideas and things and ingredients, if you will, that I want to include and express. But then you bring the Dancer family and their friends and the like on board, and they just run away with the show. You know, the books start writing themselves, and that's really the blessing, the treasure.
And is writing a job? I mean, do you wake up and go, I'm writing from 2 o'clock to 5 o'clock tonight, and then I'm going to work out, I'm going to do that, or does it just happen? No,
I'm a pretty firm believer it's a craft.
Yeah.
For me personally, it's 5 a.m. to 10 a.m. 7 days a week. I think if I were to write by inspiration or spark, I would be probably 50 pages into my first book.
Exactly.
I think
push yourself.
I think there's the craft part of it is important, and it's just an opinion. But I believe if you sit there, and even if you're just making notes or editing, there's still sparks happening, and that propels you forward with the work.
What's been the reaction to the book?
A lot of what I've heard is, I really, if you will, I dummied down the language. These folks, they say darling a lot. They say yep a lot. And I've taken some heat for, you know, can't you make these people more
sophisticated?
Right, and they're not.
Yeah.
These are people living in Kansas, living in Michigan. This is not
living day to day.
Yeah, this is not pretentious. This is folks, you know, talking as we hear our folks, our friends talk in these places.
All right, Greg. Well, we wish you all the best. The novel is called Dancer. It's
Yes.
number 10. And
thanks, Frank.
all the best. Great to have you on this morning.
Take care.
For more information about the book, log on to gregjolley.net. That's gregjolley.net. We'll be back with more Bay Sunday right after the break. So stay right there, folks.